Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
What's up?
What's going on, everybody? Another week, another episode of the podcast, Real Talking Real Estate. Hey, man, I can't see nothing. So if I start to squint, that's why, okay? So just letting you know, if I start to squint, I can't see nothing. Just tap the screen or something.
Hey, that's what happens when you get old. You need them glasses. You can't see.
So we're going to talk about oldness. Okay, no problem. Listen, I am Chris Allen. I am one of the hosts of the Real Talking Real Estate. I got my man right here.
What's going on, y'all? I am the bearded one, formerly known as the Bearded Realtor. One half of Real Talking Real Estate.
Is there a symbol for formerly known as? Is there a symbol?
Yeah, man. I don't know.
I mean, like Prince. Prince was formerly known as. He had his symbol. You ain't got no symbol or nothing?
I don't know. Can I get a symbol?
Yeah, you can get one. You can get one. We can get one done for you.
I can see what's going on the screen. So I'm good. So yeah, hey, welcome to another edition of the Real Talking Real Estate podcast.
Yep.
Where we keep it straight, no chaser. We bring some amazing guests onto the show.
Yep.
And hey, we really give you the real deal.
Real value.
Absolutely, man.
One thing about the show, man, it's not just fluff.
No.
You know, you see so many podcasts out there that's just fluff. But we bringing you true, authentic individuals who are out there in the industry, yes, making things happen, and has a proven track record, not just fluff, right? These folk are documented. They say the documentation beats conversation all day long. So these guests are documented.
Man, the phone's blowing up already.
Let's go. Man, turn the phone off. Let's get into it, man. I'm excited about tonight's show.
Let's pay some bills real quick. Hey, boom, let's go ahead and pop that on there. Hey, Chris has a book out. If you don't know, it's time to shift.
There it is.
I think
that's the glasses that I'm actually looking for. Them glasses right there.
That's the ones you're looking for right there.
That's the ones I'm looking for.
So he has a book out right now. I think the Audible is coming soon, right?
Yes, Audible's coming soon. We don't know when, but it's coming. It's coming.
So you can get it from Amazon. You can get it from all your local bookstore. It's Time to Shift by Mr. Chris Allen. I know also we have the cruise coming up next week. It's last week to put your deposit in to go on the cruise.
Yeah, go out there, reserve your spots, like a $250 reservation.
Yep.
It's going to get applied to the actual fee at the end. So go out there, reserve your spot.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. You want to say something else?
Man, listen, I'm excited about tonight's show. I'm excited about everything that we got going on this year in the podcast arena. We got a lot of great stuff. And so God has truly blessed this podcast. And I'm excited about the collaboration, the people that's joining us, the people that's reaching out to us, folk reaching out to us that's going, other cities. And I'm excited about that as well. So we're doing it, man. We're doing it.
Doing amazing things, man.
You got your fire ready for our nice guest? You got it ready? I know you've been working on it.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm keyed up. I've been wanting to do this. We talked about this, man. I think last year I talked to this young lady about being on the podcast. She was like, "Oh, absolutely, let's do it." And I was like, "Yes, let's go."
Let's go.
Hi, so this young lady we have coming on. She's originally from Long Island, New York. She earned her sociology bachelor's degree at JU. And for those you don't know what JU is Jacksonville University here locally. She's actively engaged in Delta sorority. She's also part of the Sociology Club, and she's developed a passion for Northeast Florida, which is our area, for the city, the beaches, and the culture. Her commitment to a higher education has led her to a Master's of Education degree in leadership from Northcentral University, with a background in social services for adults and development for services for adults with developmental disabilities. She eventually transitioned into the real estate game. We're going to talk about that. Transitioned into real estate in 2019. She holds several designations: real estate designation, residential, gold key certification. She holds a Nocatee certified agent, and many more. She's been recognized by the Jacksonville Real Producers 2022 to 2023, and she has been recognized as a rising star from the same publication. She's dedicated to providing unparalleled service to her clients. She resides in South Jacksonville, which we call here St. Johns County, with her husband, Mr. Jimmy, who is a deputy sheriff at the St. Johns County Sheriff's Department, and her dog, Jake. We probably heard him earlier today. That's probably him. She's combined her love for real estate and helping others. So for the past 3 years, man, she's done some work, man.
Wow.
She did $11.7 million. 2022, she did 14.9. In 2023, this last year, she did $13.3 million in real estate production. Hey, let's welcome to the podcast,
Wow.
Leah Maieski.
You gonna ask?
Right. Let's say it right.
Did he say it right? Did he say it right?
Boom. I sat here and practiced that for like 10 minutes. I'm like, Maieski.
No.
Oh, we can't hear you. You got to turn your mic on.
Whoops.
There we go.
Yeah, you got it right. And there is a lot of vowels in it, so it confuses a lot of people.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I think I got the question first off. I just want to ask real quick, Maurice. You say you pledged for sorority.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still remember your sorority dance? Because, the Greeks and, the fraternities and the Greeks are real big and doing their little pledge dance. Do you still remember your little pledge dance and all that?
So we didn't have a dance. We had a ton of songs that I could still probably chant like to this day. But yeah, it was a little bit different. But yeah, tons of songs, especially for recruitment. And I am still involved in the sorority.
Okay.
So they all come back to me every year when I'm helping out.
Okay.
Gotcha. Well, I'll tell you this, man. She may not dance in sorority, but if you follow her Instagram, she's definitely doing some other dancing, though.
Yeah, dance exercise. Diva dance.
Okay.
Yeah,
good.
Absolutely.
That's good. Well, we did a huge bio on you. You have an amazing track record. You got tons of success. Take us back a little bit. And just give us that backstory.
Yes. So when I started to look for colleges, I graduated high school in 2005. I only looked at colleges in Florida because I knew I needed to get out of the cold. So I literally applied to small universities down the whole coast of Florida. And my mom and I got in a car, took a trip to all the schools I got into. And when I visited Jacksonville University, I was like, well, they have a beach, they have a city, they had a football team at the time. So that's all I need. So JU unfortunately doesn't have a football team anymore, but
I thought you were talking about an NFL team.
No. College. At the time, I only really cared about the college football players. So,
got it.
But so I just fell in love with the city, like just from visiting. I think it was our first stop on our little college tour. Made our way down all the way to Boca, and then I was like, all right, I can really picture living here. So got my 4-year degree, was super involved, and then ended up moving home to Long Island. So that was 2009. Started dating my now husband, and in about a year and a half, I was like, let's start looking for houses in Florida because I missed it. So he ended up getting on in the corrections field, but the only opening at the time was Ocala. So we took a little trip to Ocala. So I'm like, I've never even heard of it. I was like, it's not terrible. There's a little city. I think I could make this a little stepping stone. So we moved to Ocala for a couple years. I started working with the adults with developmental disabilities, worked for the state agency for persons with disabilities, and then bought our first home, which was a foreclosure. And I think it was 2013. We only paid like $110,000 for a single family, like pretty nice house.
Wow.
And that was my first experience, which with a realtor that was so unorganized, was like the biggest hot mess. And I had no idea, it was like one of those things where you're looking online on Zillow or Realtor, click on the first agent that pops up, and literally had no clue that you can really like choose your own agent. I was like, pick us up with her. So that was our first experience in buying. Ended up kind of getting outgrowing Ocala a little bit. And I was like, I need to get back to a coast. So my husband, Jimmy, started looking at the sheriff's offices. So he applied with St. John's. And then we were also looking down in the Tampa area. Ended up going through the whole process, which I don't know if you know the law enforcement process, but it's very long. So luckily he got on with St. John's, which I was hoping because I went to school here. I still had friends and was able to transfer with my job. I had to stay in Ocala for a little bit to get our house ready to sell. I wasn't an agent at the time. Then we bought a resale in Jacksonville, had a great experience with the Josh Rogers team, who represented us. And
Okay.
like, oh, this is how realtors are supposed
Wow.
to be. Like,
Shout out to my man Josh Rogers. That's
so it was Henny, who was my buyer's agent.
Yep.
Did amazing.
OG Henny.
Yes. Love her. She was great. So I was like, this is what it's supposed to be like. And it was kind of my first spark into like, I really am interested in this as a career.
Uh-huh.
But that was about 2015, 2016. So lived in our resale, ended up building to be closer to St. Johns County for my husband's job, and use them again, to sell and buy, the Josh Rogers team.
Mm-hmm.
And then this was around 2018, closed on our new construction house. And then kind of my personal life became a little bit chaotic, where I started going through infertility. 2019, my dad passed away pretty suddenly. And I had just had a miscarriage, actually, like the week before he passed. So I was like, obviously down and depressed. And I was like, I need to do something to distract myself.
Yes.
So I enrolled in real estate school because I'm like, it's something I've wanted. I'm unhappy in my career. I just need something to like pour my energy into so I don't, go into a hole.
Yes.
So enrolled in real estate school in person. I was working my full-time job, doing the class at night, passed, all the exams right away, and then jumped into real estate.
Got you. So now,
what was it about real estate? I mean, what was it about the real estate though, that intrigued you? Your life was chaotic. You had some things going on. What was it about this industry that made you say, I'll do that?
Well, number one, I saw what money could be made. So that was number one.
Okay.
Number two was that I loved the process of buying and selling my own personal properties. So, once going through it as a buyer and a seller, I was like, I think I would be good at this. Of course, people on the outside think it's a lot easier than it is. But I was like, I really, obviously the cliche things, loved HGTV, loved home decor, loved my own, buying and selling. And then going through infertility is very expensive. And the career that I was in, social services, has a cap on really what you can make. And I couldn't afford a lot of the treatments and things I was going to undergo over the next several years, and still am. So yeah, kind of the combination of both.
Good stuff.
Got you. So hey, first off, I'm sorry to hear about all this that you had happen during that time frame. Now, so let me make sure I understand. So you were a social worker prior to getting into real estate?
Yeah, I had a caseload of about 40 adults with developmental disabilities. Okay. And luckily it was flexible, where I had like X amount of things I had to do for the month. So when I did get licensed, I was able to kind of start real estate at the same time, because I did end up holding on to my like full-time job for a year and a half. So kind of dove in with real estate full-time and had my full-time job. So I was working like 7 days a week, till 10 o'clock at night every day, just to try to make the transition.
Gotcha.
So I got a question, Marie. So when you transition into the real estate side, you say you had already had an awesome experience with the Josh Rogers team.
Correct.
Was that someone in the very beginning that you did reach out to say, hey, listen, I'm thinking about this industry, how you get this thing done?
Yes.
Awesome.
So I had worked closely with Amy Korb, who listed my house. She was on his team at the time, and Henny. So I reached out to both of them personally. And at the time, Amy was just branching off from Josh because he had moved from Keller Williams to EXP.
Yeah.
So Amy was at Keller Williams and kind of took me under her wing when I first got licensed, introduced me to the leadership there. And it worked out because Keller Williams, is known for their training, especially with new agents. So, I didn't really interview a lot of brokerages. I just followed Amy, in her guidance, and dove in with Keller Williams. And they have their Ignite program, which I'm not sure if it's called something else now, but the 30-day like new agent training. So I'm like, I don't even know where to find the contract, let alone like find a buyer or a seller, when you first graduate.
Yeah. Do you have one, Maurice?
No, I would just go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, so I was just curious. So if you weren't in real estate, could you see yourself still being a social worker?
So what I was hoping with getting my master's degree was to break into higher education. So my degree is a master in education, specializing in leadership and higher education. So before deciding to go through the real estate course, I was applying at JU, FSCJ, UNF for just to break into that field. And what I kept finding was I would go through 2 or 3 different rounds of interviews, but they kept hiring within. And they would also want me to kind of start at the bottom. So I didn't want to go sit somewhere from 8 to 5, taking a pay cut when I had flexibility. Like I just didn't want to do that, you know, because it wasn't like I had gotten my master's straight after my bachelor's degree. I had taken a couple years to work and then went back. So I was kind of at that crossroads where do I continue to try to get on in some higher education position, or do I just make a complete different choice? So I went the other way, obviously.
Got you.
Do you think, as when you transitioned over from your previous career field to the new career field, being able to partner up with somebody who was already successful in the industry, do you think that had a huge impact on the direction of your business?
I do. So I remember I got licensed in July. I joined Keller Williams right away. And I think it was around October, I got presented with the opportunity to meet with a team to, you know, join a team, which I had never really even heard of besides the Josh Rogers team. But I guess it just didn't cross my mind to go that route. So I ended up joining the Coastal Home Group team in October. And then from October to December that first year, I closed 4. So it was like 2 leads that I was able to generate, and then 2 leads from the team. So partnering up with them really helped, because I was able to sit with them when I had my first contract. I think it was like 9 o'clock on a Saturday night, you know, sitting in one of their kitchens to like type my first offer, and just have that guidance and hand holding a little bit helped a ton in the beginning.
Got you. Got you. So I want to kind of go back a little bit. I know we talked about your first year in real estate. I mean, you had a very tough year when you made the transition to real estate. During that transitional time for you, what made you continue going on and just say, I'm going to make real estate my thing and continue pushing forward?
I think I've learned that I thrive in chaos and stress. So I think like when there's something stressful happening, like I have to kind of put my energy into something positive so I don't get really down. So I think I just learned that about myself over the years, is like, try to find something, because I try to be a positive person. Like I have gone through a lot over the past several years, so I'm not the most positive anymore, but I try to at least put my energy into something that's going to do good. And at the time, like my why, and which is still my why, is to grow a family. So it's kind of like, do I want to be stuck miserable? Because working for the state, you see people that have been there for 30 plus years that are so miserable going to work every day. And I'm like, this will not be me. You know, like this will not be me. I cannot do that. So just having to force myself to make a change, and then, you know, setting goals to be like, I'm leaving this job, because like I said, I worked my full-time job for about 1.5 years of overlapping real estate. And that I was like, I want 3 months saved. Like I want things in the pipeline. And I had more than that by the time I finally quit. My husband was like, you can't do this anymore. Like I was just, you know, so stressed doing both. So just having those goals and just trying to put my energy into something positive that is going to help me and other people.
Got you.
Leah, can you walk us through, once you transitioned into real estate full time, can you walk us through your first year in real estate? The ups, the downs, the pitfalls, the goods, the bads. Can you walk us through it?
Yeah. So I was still on the team at the time, and the team had transitioned. So I think it was about 2021. That was like my first, no, it was 2022. That was my first full year on my own. The team was great, you know, to learn. I just felt like I was ready for more. And my ultimate goal is to start my own team. So I just felt like I was ready to push myself to be a single agent. So 2022, it was scary because I was at a different brokerage, you know, coming from a long career where you have a set salary. It is super nerve-wracking to take that risk. Yeah. And I was calculated about it. So I was like, I need X amount of money saved. I want, you know, a certain amount of leads pending or in my pipeline. And then I just had to go all in. I had to structure my day. I just all the things, I really had to be my own boss and force myself to get up and have a schedule every day.
Was that first year tough for you?
Yes. Yeah, it was tough. I think since being on the team helped to structure a lot of my time, I think that having that background helped. But it was tough, but I was able to, at that point, be consistent because I farmed my previous neighborhood hardcore. So I kind of learned those skills in Ignite and continued them. So I kind of honed in on certain skills like farming, social media, different things where I was getting most of my business. So by the time I did go out on my own, I felt like I had a good momentum already happening. But in the beginning, when I was on the team, but it was, it's definitely scary.
Got you.
So
question. So
yeah, a lot of questions for you, Lee. That's what it is. We got a lot.
So a lot of people want to get in the business. They still have a job. What advice are you giving those folks to be able to make that transition the same way you did?
So I think what was key for me, and I know it's not possible for everyone, was just to have a little bit of flexibility in that job. So maybe if you do need that steady income, finding something that is a little bit more flexible than like an 8 to 5, just because so many things happen during the workday that you have to be at for real estate. Like closings happen Monday through Friday, inspections, you never know when, buyers and sellers want to meet. So I know it's super challenging when you don't have that flexibility. I was able to structure, my job where I was able to upload, upfront, like a bunch of the visits that I had to do, like in certain days, and then I could focus other days on real estate. But even if you could find something that's at home where at least you can be available, but it is a challenge. So I would say you definitely do want to have a plan of when you're going to be transitioning, because you don't want to go into real estate with no money saved, because we all know it takes 90 days to 6 months to get your first paycheck. So, and that's just going to add stress, and you don't want to be in that desperate, feeling and energy, because people feel that.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. If you go back in time and you could talk to the Leah back then that was just starting out in the industry, what is something that you wish you would have known at that moment?
So I think it's going to be a lot of work, and it is not easy. Like you see on Selling Sunset, you have to push yourself outside of your comfort zone, and you have to be consistent. Like pick something you're going to do and be consistent with it, because we know the statistics, like 87% of people fail in the first 2 years. And it's because they just stop doing something right before it's about to blossom. Like it's just, if you're not seeing a quick return, people just stop doing that thing. So I think just always having a long game vision and being consistent. Like you just have to be consistent.
Got you. So I want to talk a little bit about family. You brought it up a little bit. So what part has Jimmy played in your success in the business?
Well, if you do follow me on social media, you'll see he is like my biggest cheerleader,
Mm-hmm.
which I so appreciate, because he does hype me up. He gives me so much confidence, and he's always so proud of anything I accomplish. So I feel like number one, having his support and just like to hype me up when I am feeling down or, struggling, or I didn't get a listing or something happens, to kind of have that person that's going to bring you back up and make you feel really confident. And then also for like, I'm lucky enough that I have his steady income. So it's kind of like something to fall back on that just mentally for me makes me feel better. I know he's getting a paycheck every 2 weeks. So that does help me just to, especially in the beginning.
Got you. And one more question. I know we've had some conversations, and we are both trying to grow our families. So how would that affect you once you do develop and grow that family? How would it affect your business, or have you even thought about it?
Oh yeah, I think about it all the time. So this year my goal is to start my team that I've been thinking about for a while.
Okay.
So Sarah Schwartz, who's one of my good friends, started her team when she had her first baby, and just seeing that and being able to leverage some things so you can be present with your family.
Yes.
So that's why I'm kind of trying to get a head start on it. So I'll have things in place for me when I do finally become a mom and can take a little bit of time off, or at least not be working, 7 days a week.
Absolutely. Okay.
What do you think? I know you talked about the team and you talked about growing all things. What do you think the secret sauce is to become a successful real estate agent?
I mean, you do have to be willing to talk to people. You have to get out of your comfort zone. And you have to be structured. Whatever structure looks like to you, you have to be willing to put in the work. It's not just going to come to you. So everyone has a different way of generating leads. Some people love to call expired. Some people host open houses and get a ton of leads from that. It's like, find what you're comfortable with and then really hone in on that. Mine has been that I am super involved in a ton of different networking groups. So I'm the president of my sorority's alumni chapter here. I'm involved in the Jacksonville Alumni Panhellenic Association. I do go to dance, which I have gotten, a bunch of leads from there, just doing something I enjoy doing.
Right.
So I think just whatever it is, like if you're not a super social person, but maybe you're amazing at open houses and converting those leads, like just hone in on something and really, make that your craft.
How long did it take you before you found your thing?
So it took a little while. I think like farming was a huge thing and I'm still trying to incorporate it, but I have honestly slacked off a little bit because I moved and I'm like trying to figure out how to now farm my new neighborhood. But learning from Keller Williams, honestly, about farming, I was consistent with having a reminder in my phone on the first of every month. I would post the market stats in my neighborhood Facebook group. I would host appreciation events a couple times a year. So one of them was like an end of the summer ice cream truck, hot dogs, come out, do a gift card giveaway. So I would get them on Facebook. I would do in-person events like at the pool. I did a pie giveaway. And then also mailers, like doing mailers to my farm. So I was hitting them from a bunch of different ways. And in the beginning, I didn't see anything come from it. I would post the market stats, a couple likes and comments. And then it was about month 9 where all of a sudden someone called and was like, hey, I saw you on the Facebook page. I want you to list my house. And then there's a model for sale in Nocatee for $1 million. Could you help us? Yes, I definitely can. So, but it literally
Absolutely. I can help.
It literally took like 9 months of nothing. And then finally it snowballed after that. Then it was like I had listed that one house, helped them buy. Then it just kept coming from there. And I was consistent with doing that. So I think it's just that, that's one way. The other way is just in person, like doing things I enjoy and just reminding people constantly on social media that I'm a realtor.
Yes.
Those have been the best ways for me.
Got you.
Marshall?
Now, I had a question. So we're talking over 12,000 agents in our area. How have you been able to separate yourself from the masses? What are you doing that's going to put you head and shoulders above your competition?
That's a good question. I mean, I try to be authentic, like being from Long Island. I feel like I'm pretty straightforward and I don't have like, a scarcity mindset. Like I want to be honest with everyone, like if it's not a good time for you to sell, like I'm not just going to do it for the sale. Like I want it to be the best for that person and their situation. So I really do try to come from a place of helping each individual and what's best for them. And then honestly, just trying to stay on top of all the education and like different things. But I think people see my authenticity on social media. Like I do talk about my infertility, journey a lot. And I think that can help people relate and connect to me. I try to be an open book, and anytime I post about that, I have tons of people that message me and say, I've never talked about this, or I've never been open with someone, and just trying to continue to be me and then hopefully attract the right people.
Okay.
You have a great social media presence. So my question to you is this: how important is social media towards your business, and how do you maintain an authentic self on social media?
That's a good question. So it is super important. I think last year I got several random people that I ended up working with that found me through social media, specifically Instagram, I think is like the number one for me.
Okay.
I keep up with Facebook too, but Instagram is where I'm on there doing my stories and everything every day. I think stories is where people can see your personality, the posts. So I think in the beginning, when I first got into real estate, I was trying to keep my personal life and business separate. And then it was just way too much to manage, like 2 separate accounts. So I think I had heard from several people that were super successful, like people want to see who the real you is, you know, they want to know, like, and trust you if they're going to work with you. So I had combined them, I mean, years ago at this point, where I still put up when I'm out with my friends or, you know, me and Jimmy are doing whatever, going to the Jaguar game or something. And then also sprinkling in the real estate stuff. So it humanizes me, you know, because I'm out having fun and doing things. And then also showing, you know, different real estate and not just trying to do the just sold, just listed, like also educating people and making it valuable for them to be on my page.
Gotcha.
Great.
Gotcha.
Right.
So now, you've had some, like you said, you've had some very difficult years in the business. Have you ever thought about just, hey, forget it, I'll just let this go. I'm done with this. Let me just go back to a regular 9 to 5 and not have to worry about all of this jazz with real estate?
Yes, I have days where I've definitely said that. I do have, like, Sarah Schwartz, who I said before, is like my real estate best friend, and we literally text all day, every day.
Yeah.
So she's a good sounding board for me, where we can both be like, you know, just going off about something that's coming up or whatever. So yes, I have had those days, but when I look back, I'm like, I would never make this type of money in my old job. And the life I've been able to build for myself, and I mean, IVF is very expensive. I would never be able to pay for that because none of it's covered by insurance if I was still at my old job. So I think the hard days, I just have to really remember, like, all the positives and everything. It's, you know, I'm in the home that when I first got into real estate, I was like, this floor plan is like my dream floor plan. And I was able to build it last year. Like, just doing those things is just a reminder every day, like, it's worth it. And then closing days when people are so grateful and so happy, those are the positives. Like, but of course there are so many hard days that people wouldn't even understand that we have to go through. But just trying to keep reminding myself, and then having people that can remind me too.
Got you. But another quick question, Chris, before you hop in here. So you talk about some of the difficult days and some of the things that we go through as realtors. And with you having a background in as a social worker, how do you handle difficult clients in your business?
I mean, in the beginning, you know, I never thought I can, like, fire a client. Like, you know, you're like, oh my God, I have a buyer. Like, I'll do whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
But I think just with experience and then confidence too, because in the beginning, you just don't really know what you're doing, to be honest, you know? So I think with confidence, I've been able to set boundaries. Like, I don't answer my phone after a certain time. You know, nothing good is going to come at 10 p.m. when title companies and lenders are not working till the next morning. You know, like, you don't want to deliver bad news and then they get a horrible night's sleep, but really nothing could have been done. It could have waited. So I think just like building my own confidence, like in my abilities of just going through so many transactions, and that has helped me to be able to put the boundaries in, because if someone's going to be disrespectful, like, I have no problem. I'll be like, I don't think I'm the right agent for you. I don't think it's happened yet, but I feel like at this point I do have the confidence to do that, you know, if it came up.
That's good.
Okay.
That's good. One of the things, Leah, you talked about was, you know, especially successful people, that when we get down, what we do is we tend to just go work more, just go deeper into work. Outside of work, what are some things that you have put in place to keep you mentally in the game?
Like, personally, like, what do I do for fun, kind of?
Yeah, to keep you mentally in the game, so you won't lose it.
Well, we've talked about it a couple times today, but dance has been something that I've done my whole entire life. Like, I started at age 3. I was a competitive dancer, like, all through high school, and I even danced on the JU dance team. So for several years, like, there's not a lot of places for adults to dance. You know, it's like a kid thing. And then, but Diva Dance Jacksonville opened, I think it was just about 3 years ago. And I kept seeing the Facebook ad pop up. I was like, oh my God, that looks like fun. But I was nervous to go by myself. And then one day I was like, screw it, I'm just going to go. And I ended up having a blast. I hadn't danced in so long, and then meeting a great group of friends that now are some of my best friends. And we've gone on girls' trips for the past couple years. And so just having an outlet like that. And then I do have a pool. Like I was able to put in a pool this past year. So in the summer, definitely like trying to take Sundays to just relax, hang by the pool, have friends over, just barbecue, and like try to mentally check out a little bit. So then Monday I can be back on it.
That's good. That's good. I got one of the things. I got questions, Leah. We're gonna have superstars on the show. We're gonna ask questions. You talked about earlier that when you first got into the industry, you get ready to buy your house, and you met with an agent, and they were totally disorganized. Like they didn't have their stuff together at all. How have you managed to put things in place so therefore that won't become you as an agent?
Yes, that is a good question, and something I'm working on before I actually start this team, because I'm like, I want to have processes, checklists in place, especially if I'm going to bring on new agents that are, fresh out of the real estate school and haven't done one transaction. So, I mean, for me, like using a transaction coordinator helps a ton. Just being organized with having my office set up, I know how I operate when I have a new buyer and different systems that I go through, but I am trying to get that more on paper, not just like in my head. So I can continue to help other agents, do that too.
Got you. So question with that, because we do exclusives on the show. We have a lot of people that tell what's going on. So where are you at in that process of where you'll be able to start a team? Where you at in that process for yourself and your business?
Well, I'm sure you know that my current brokerage is going to be closing. So I didn't expect the beginning of this year to basically be trying to figure out where I'm going, because I'm in a transition now. But they will be staying open for the whole first quarter. So I've been trying to figure out what my next move is. I am at a boutique brokerage. So I do think I want a bigger reach where I could be at a more international brokerage that has more trainings and different things for that future team. Because at the brokerage I was at, it really wasn't conducive for new agents, because they didn't have like an Ignite, program for new agents. So I'm trying to find the right place for me, but also for that future team so they could be successful. And so all the training isn't on me. Like I'd rather be able to send someone like, hey, go to a CMA class and then I'll help you, perfect it. But at least to do like that basic stuff of how to write a contract and lead generating and all those things. Having more, just a bigger brokerage with more training for that.
I was having it's funny that we're having this conversation. I was having a conversation with another successful real estate agent yesterday. And the question I'm going to ask you is this: how does a top producing agent, when they're in transitional mode, what are some of the things that you're looking for to help you make that decision?
So a lot of things, actually, because I do feel like I am at a point where I do want to go to the next level with my passion is to help mentor other people. So for me, I'm looking for training opportunities for referrals, like a big referral network. I want to go to those bigger conventions where meet agents from all over the place, because I haven't done that yet. And when I was at Keller Williams, like I was a red shirt on the ALC, which is the Associate Leadership Council. And I was happy at Keller, but there was, things that happened with the team. So I ended up leaving, but I honestly would have stayed because I was happy there. So some things that I liked from Keller, I'm looking for, some things for my future team. And then obviously commission splits and different things like that do play a part in it. Caps, different things like that. And I'm honestly looking for coaching too. So I do want to become a leader, and I want to be coached by someone that has had a successful team. So that's something really important to me right now.
That's good.
Got you. Good. So we're talking about that from a top producer standpoint. Now, what advice, you talk about being a mentor, what advice are you giving to a brand new agent of, should they go to a big box brokerage or should they go to just a small boutique brokerage?
I mean, everyone's personality is so different. But when you're brand new, I think you need to really focus on what trainings are offered, because if you do go to a brokerage with just a small flat fee, like how are you going to be successful if there's not like leadership there to help? So I think, in the beginning, I don't know who said it to me, but it was like, don't focus on what the split is in the beginning, because you just want to gain knowledge, because it doesn't matter what your split is if you make $0. Like if you're not like selling anything, I mean, your split could be 100%, but you're not making any money. Like, so the training part I think is so important. And then once you get some confidence, like now I am able to have some numbers backing me up when I am going to different brokerages, and I have a little bit more negotiation power than when I was brand new.
Yeah, because that's probably the number one thing most agents look at when they're coming out of school. They want to see who's going to pay them the most money.
Yeah, exactly.
Why do you think that is, Leah?
I think people see like the crazy checks that Selling Sunset and all these like,
$1 million listing. Yeah, they want that money.
They're like, oh, I just need to sell one house and I'm going to make like $100,000, so it's fine. But we know it's not. The day-to-day grind. Like, how are you going to get that person to choose you out of the 12,000 to make the biggest purchase of their life? So you really do have to have knowledge and people to lean on. If you don't, we still come up with questions all the time. Like, you need someone to lean on when some crazy situation pops up. So just that having support is so important.
That's good. So do you think that having a team is a transitional piece to owning your own brokerage? Or do you think it just stay? I see you smile. So what's the transitional piece? Go ahead.
No, I do not have a desire to own a brokerage at all. Maybe one day I'll get my broker's license, like just to continue my education. But I have zero desire to have all that liability and like, no, I enjoy being in sales. So, and I want to mentor people. So I don't think so.
Do you think, what do you think about those people who automatically just want to jump out there and just become their own broker? What kind of, when you hear that, I'm just going to do my own broker's thing, does the bells go off in your head or?
No, I don't really have thoughts about it. I mean, to each their own. And they, if it's going to work for them, it could work. But I've been, on both sides. I've been with a big brokerage and I've been with a boutique brokerage. So I have kind of seen the way both operate. And now I just know now what I'm looking for. And I just want a little bit more of that support and referrals and all the different things. So.
Gotcha. Good. So Leah, you've made a transition. You had a full-time job, transitioned into the real estate game, and then eventually went full-time. What do you think are maybe just the top 3 reasons 87% we talked about in the beginning are falling off? Why do you think that is?
I think probably not having some sort of mentor or someone that's currently in real estate.
Okay.
They might have just these pipe dreams, and if you don't have someone that's realistically telling you like, hey, it is going to take maybe 6 months for you to have your first sale. I think just having that mentor is so key. And then when you're used to having a steady paycheck and then jumping into real estate without a plan, you can't survive, if you don't have a plan of making money and being able to pay your bills. So I think people think it's going to be easier than it is. And then after several months, when you're not seeing any money, you basically get forced into having, to go get another job or going back to your job.
Right.
And then just like I said in the beginning, like the training was so key for me, because I remember how I felt like, okay, I think I know someone that wants to buy, but I literally don't know where to find the contract. Like, I don't even know how to write this contract because in real estate school, you do not learn anything that you actually will use.
No, you don't.
Right.
So the training was so important, and that really helped me like learn how to farm, which ended up like being a huge population of my clients.
Gotcha. Okay.
So my question to you is, you've done very, very well in the real estate industry. When you set out to embark upon this new journey, did you see yourself where you are now, or was it something completely different?
That's so hard, because no, I don't think I did. Like at the time in social work, I was making less than $50,000 a year. And just to hit that magic, like, oh my God, can you imagine if I made $100,000 in a year? Like, it was so like crazy for me.
Yeah.
That I wanted that, you know, like that was a goal, but it was so hard to like believe that it was attainable, especially so quickly. That I set myself up for realistic goals. Like, I'm like, I want to hit my goals. So I love like, now I do like the 9-week year where I have like quarterly goals, I have my year goals, but it just makes it easier for me to try to hit those. But in the beginning, I was like, I don't even know, like, I don't know where this is going to go. And then every year that I've been able to make more and more, I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, like, it's just crazy.
Wow. You talk, I'm gonna keep going, Maurice. You talked earlier, Leah. You said one of the key factors of people being having a high failure rate is not being able to have a mentor, right? Do you think that a real estate mentor and a real estate coach, do you think they're different or are they one and the same?
I think they're different. They probably could be the same person, but to me, a mentor is someone that's maybe working in your office and has been in it longer, and someone that you aspire to be like, someone that will take you under their wing a little bit, and more of like a friendship, you know, relationship. And then a coach, I feel like, is someone that's going to hold you more accountable. Like, maybe you're paying them, maybe you're not, but someone that is specific to your goals. So and they probably can be the same. You know, you probably can have a coach that is also a mentor for you, but in my head, I think they're two different people.
Okay. Because we've talked about coaches on this particular platform a lot, and a lot of the successful people that come on the platform always they champion having a coach. What's your standpoint on having a coach? Do you have one? Do you need one? Is it a waste of money? Give us your thoughts on that.
So I have had one a little bit when I was on the team. They had provided a little bit of coaching from some outside organization, and I liked it. Like, I liked the accountability part, because it is so easy to get distracted when you're working from home, not stick to your time blocking, you know, not stick to the activities you know you need to do. So it is something I'm currently looking for because I want that accountability again. I think it helps someone that maybe has an outside point of view or different views that can give you new ideas, you know, different things. So in the beginning, I know it's hard because you don't really have money, but I think it's worth it, especially to level up. So say you start to get a little bit of success and then maybe you feel like you're in a rut, to level up to the next, whatever your next goal is. I think it's key.
That's good.
Got you. So we talked about starting a team, and we've talked on the show about bringing in agents to your organization or your team. What would your ideal agent look like for you? Or have you thought about it?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think because I like mentoring people, my ideal person is someone that's super driven and probably freshly licensed. Maybe doesn't have bad habits yet that I could train.
Right.
It's true. But go ahead.
He's coachable, you know?
Yes.
But someone that, because, you know, talking about Josh Rogers, like, you know, Maurice, you and I had met with him, and just like how his people stay with him for so long because of the culture, not just the leads. And that's what I strive to have. Like, I want people to like have my vision and like want to be a part of something else, because, you know, real estate can get lonely, you know, like you could just be doing your own hustle and grinding at home and then go out to your appointments, and it could be a lonely career. So I want people that will buy into my ideas, buy into my vision of the team, because I do want to be like a brand. Like, I want to be a resource for all of St. John's and Northeast Florida, and, you know, have a website that has a ton of events going on. And I don't want it to just be about real estate. Like, I want it to be like a whole brand, basically. So people to buy into that. And my ideal person is probably someone that is coachable, can see my vision, and is flexible, and wants to stay with me at least for a good amount of time.
Yeah, because he's definitely had some people. I think you said you bought your house in 15, and he's still in his team to this day, and it's like what, 9 years ago?
Yeah, exactly. I know. And they're all doing so great, and they seem happy. So they're doing something right over there.
Yeah. That's a long time.
Yeah.
Very long time. Woo.
Good.
You had some, Chris?
Go ahead. So what's what's the plan? What's the plan over the next, 3, 5, 10 years? What's the plan?
Well, first I have to find my new brokerage, which I have found, but I haven't announced it yet. So that's like the short term, is that I just have to make the transition, which, will be happening. So 3 years, I could picture myself, having that team, maybe an admin and 2 agents. Like, I don't want a mega team. Like, I want to keep it, but who knows, who knows what happens. Obviously I want to be a mom this year. That's my goal. It's been my goal for the past 6 years.
Yep.
So continue to go on that journey and see where that takes me. We're going to reside in St. Johns County. So 5 years I'll still be here, hustling and hopefully doing more of that mentoring and focusing on listings and helping, agents build their own businesses. And 10 years, I'll still be working. I won't be retiring in 10 years. So you'll still see me here.
You'll see me right here. I love it. Yeah. So do we get an exclusive on the show yet, or are we not doing an exclusive?
No exclusives. No exclusives.
I tried.
That would be my question, but Chris, you got me.
Okay, I'll give you my team name, because I have already bought the domain and everything, and I have not talked about this anywhere.
Okay.
So my team name is the 904 Collective.
904 Collective. Okay.
Yes. I did not want to have my name in it. I just want it to be like a brand, like I could see it. And I'm developing my logo right now. But I want it to be like on shirts and hats and make it a fun thing. So 904 Collective, you heard it here first.
Gotcha.
That's my team name.
Okay. All right. Well, I got a couple questions from the audience. Miss Joanna says she's invited you to go to the Miami EXP Con this year in October.
Thank you, Joanna.
your fellow Long Island New Yorker has invited you. Invite you to EXPCon 2024 in Miami in October. But she did have a question though. She said, what would you say if your kids wanted to follow in your footsteps to get into real estate?
Oh, I would say 100%. I mean, that would be awesome to be able to pass like my knowledge and team down to my future kids. So I would probably still want them to go, experience college and at least have a backup plan, because real estate's not going to be for everybody. But I mean, it's an amazing career. And especially if you can get into it when you're in your early 20s, there's no ceiling, you can really take it anywhere.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I have a question. So we drop you off, we take you to a city. No one knows you in this city. You don't know anybody in this city. You don't know the layout of the city, but you have your real estate license in that city. What's the first thing you're going to do?
Ooh, well, I would probably look up, obviously, a big brokerage, a big team, maybe go on social media, see who's doing business in the area, and then try to sit down. And honestly, if I was brand new in a city, I would probably join a team just to have people around me that know the area, can show me the ropes a little bit, and, get leads, honestly, because we know it's really hard when you don't know anybody, because I've built my business on Sphere, referrals, friends, so I have not paid for leads and I don't really want to. So I would probably go on social media. I've been able to find referrals that way, just going on and looking up real producers in certain cities when I have friends that are moving, and that's worked out. So I think just going on social media, looking at who's doing business and reach out to them, see if they want to hire somebody on.
That's good.
Got you. Really quick, Chris, before you get in here, let me ask a question before I forget about it. So you talked about he put you in a new city, you don't know anybody. Now, is that the advice for a brand new agent? Would it be to join a team or go solo? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
There you go.
So I do think, I started on a team, and it really does help to have that support. I think if you can see the long game of, of course, you're not going to like that you're splitting with the team and the brokerage. Like, it is hard, to do that, but the benefits can totally outweigh the cons. And just to be around people that are producing, that have the connections, that can handhold you when you have to write contracts or addendums is so important, because a lot of times when people feel overwhelmed, they just kind of shut down, it would kind of stall any success. So I recommend joining a team when you're brand new. I think it's a great start.
So regardless if you're in a brand new city or just a brand new agent, you should join. Your advice would be join a team first.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. Unless you know, like, yeah, if you were brand new in Jacksonville as an agent, but you had like a huge sphere, like maybe you grew up here and all your family, like at least join a brokerage that's going to have some support, but maybe you could do it on your own. But if you're in a brand new city, 100% join the team.
Got you. Brand new city.
I know we talked about the teams, but here's another question before we go. And we talk about this a lot on the show. You mentioned earlier about time blocking and your strategy. What is your strategy when it comes to time blocking?
So it's a work in progress. The beginning of this year has been a little crazy. Like I said, some things happened that I wasn't planning, to do. But I mean, I have this digital planner that I like live by, and I used to be a hardcore like paper planner person. But since I got my iPad, there's a specific realtor digital planner. And if anyone wants it, I can send you the link because it's a realtor in California that created it. So it's set up for, you could track leads in there, financing like each month, and then specific to each day. So I always have my iPad with me, and I'm super like about my planner and my schedule. So I don't really have specific things. Some realtors like cold call from 9 to whatever. I don't do that. Every week for me looks a little bit different. I try to do specific social media things, and I'm working on potentially bringing on a marketing coordinator that can help me be a little bit more strategic with that too. But every Sunday, I'll sit down with my planner and plan out my whole week. Every week looks different. I try to meet another realtor or a friend for lunch or coffee, a couple times a week. Today I had a closing, so this morning I had the walkthrough and closing, and then I worked on some social media stuff, scheduled an open house, but everything is different. But like I said, Sunday is the day that I try to plan out my whole week and then go from there. You need a little bit of flexibility in your schedule. So it is hard if you are type A, where you don't want to stray from your schedule, but you have someone that comes up and says, hey, I want to look at a house tomorrow. Like, you have to be able to have a little bit of wiggle room.
So but you've been a top performer. So you say you kind of time block, but not really. So what is that thing that you really consistently do on a daily basis?
I mean, honestly, social media is so huge for me. So interacting with people, always wishing them a happy birthday, sending messages, like just trying to be authentic with my sphere and people that I'm already connected to. Putting up polls on my Instagram, like, gets people involved. And that's really the consistent thing that I do, is just being super active on there. And then, like, I have a new listing. I still do my open houses. Like, I like to be there. I've gotten several leads from open houses. So just honestly documenting, a lot of people are doing tons of activities throughout the day, but when you're showing a house, like, record it so people know that you're working, doing all those things just to stay top of mind, and reminding people, like, hey, I'm busy.
Here's a big thing. Social media is in my opinion, it's a gift and a curse sometimes, because sometimes you get out there, you just be scrolling, right? How do you maintain the focus on social media that you're not just scrolling, you are actually income producing activities?
Well, that is hard. I mean,
that's a great question.
I struggle with it too, especially when it's on your phone. Like, I feel like if I pull up Facebook or something on my computer, I could be a little bit more strategic with it. But when I'm just scrolling, like, I have to stop myself and be like, no, like, I just wasted like 30 minutes of my time. So also something, that I talk to my therapist about, honestly, because everyone's comparing each other, like, I'll see pregnancy announcements and that'll get me really down. So trying to stop the scrolling so it doesn't affect my day, because you never know what you're going to see, like you're seeing everybody's highlight reel, and it could mess with you mentally if you're having a hard day. So trying to be strategic, like, if I post a story, just get off of it as soon as I'm done posting. I don't have to start scrolling and seeing what everyone else is doing. But, having it on my desktop helps a little bit, at least for Facebook. Like, I'll do my daily Facebook messages for birthdays or whatever like that. Just setting a time limit to it so you don't get sucked in for a couple hours.
Yeah. And I definitely want to commend you because I know that mentally has to weigh heavy on you scrolling and seeing those things. I mean, like we've talked about before, I know firsthand how it goes. So yeah, definitely commend you on that. Well, hey man, we had the hour mark, man.
That thing be going so fast. You see why we jumping in on questions real quick? Like, this always go by fast.
Absolutely. So Leah, what we like to do on the show is we like to leave our guests, allow them to give their final thoughts. They can say whatever they want to say, talk to the audience. This is your time to speak.
I mean, that's a lot of pressure. So I would say if you're thinking about real estate, just talk to people that are currently in real estate before making the jump. I've done it several times this past year. Like an agent has reached out to the brokerage and then I've sat down with them just to tell them what it's really like. So I think if you're new, just reach out to people that are currently doing it. I know almost every top producer has no problem sitting down to have a conversation, and just help in any way they can. And then if you decide to jump in, have those goals and be consistent. Like, do not give up. If you're doing, like I said, monthly market stats, but you're not seeing a return, like keep going, because the good thing is happening on the other side, where if you quit, it would be like the next month, that you're going to get something great coming from it. So I think just find the things that you want to do consistently and just do not give up. Just keep pushing,
It's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Great show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We can keep going. Oh man. What that's it, right?
I was just gonna say this before we wrap it up, man. I would just say whoever's still listening to the show, like, take this what she said, because she's going through a lot of things and she still continues to push forward. Like, that is so powerful. Super powerful, to where you can continue to push through those things. And I mean, damn, man. Come on now. If you it's just
Maurice, but like people really don't know what's happening behind closed doors. And like,
absolutely.
I've gone through so many egg retrievals in 2022. I attempted 4 egg retrievals. So I'm hyped up on hormones, like getting horrible news and like still having to show up, because my why is that I want to be a mom. And like, if I don't keep going, I'm not going to be able to afford this anymore, So it's like really finding your why, and then just giving people grace, like I have to put a smile on my face when sometimes I don't want to, and I don't even know how I do, but just giving people grace and being kind, and then hustle and don't give up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Joanna says, you're amazing, Leah. Rooting for you to accomplish all your dreams.
Oh, thank you. She's so sweet.
Well, listen, we appreciate you just coming on the show, being real, authentic, candid, being vulnerable. We appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Tonight. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Anything that we can do to help you in your business, anything you got going on, you always get some friends over here, Real Talk.
Thank you.
So
thank you so much.
Don't hesitate, just reach out to us.
Thank you.
Right?
Absolutely.
So, that's what we're going to end. What we're going to do. That's it.
Let's see. What are we going to do? So we're going to wrap it up. Hey, we got
That's good, man. So the great show. We back next week, same time.
Back next week, man. Y'all got to tune in next week. I got a special guest coming through. We got a real estate attorney. We're going to talk about this lawsuit, man. Y'all want to tune in next week. So
it's going to be powerful.
That's going to be a powerful show, man. We're going to talk about this lawsuit thing. So absolutely.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Yep. So listen, don't talk about it. Be about it. We out. Peace.